Is Antonio Reynoso, and I'm the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn, first and foremost. And I'm so happy to be here today in Borough Park with my friends. I'm very excited about an announcement that we're going to make in from Borough Hall. After visiting Hatzolah earlier this year, I learned about all the work that they were doing in keeping our community safe and providing services to the neediest folks in all of Brooklyn. We're talking about emergency services related to health and other services here in Brooklyn. We've had multiple conversations and hearings in City Hall when I was a council member about wait times and how important it is to get to people in need in dire situations as fast as possible. And what we have here is a complementary partnership with Hatzolah in all of Brooklyn that are assisting us in making sure that those times are as short as possible, and in doing so, saving lives. That is what's happening. We also have a community that is invested not only in serving the Jewish community of Borough Park or the Jewish community in Williamsburg. It doesn't matter who you are. When you call, they show up. They have the utmost expertise and have obviously state-of-the-art facilities, vehicles, and so forth. So we met. I was compelled to want to be helpful, and alongside Councilmember Carmen Yeager, we had a conversation about how we can do that. And we thought that we knew that the need for ambulances, especially new ones, was deeply important. We need to make sure that they're on a cycle where they are operational so they can continue to do their work. We decided that we were going to commit to buying electric ambulances for the Hatzolah of Borough Park and the Hatzolah of Williamsburg. And today, we're making that announcement and we're signing the check. This couldn't be possible with the support of everybody that you see behind me, but especially with Councilmember Carmen Yeager, who was my partner in committing to this funding. And I'm pretty sure that Councilmember Yeager bought a couple more ambulances than I did, but I'm extremely grateful for his partnership in working with me, because we want to make sure that our resources are maximized in these type of efforts. Just one person contributing to the goodness of Hatzolah doesn't help the greater good of Brooklyn. This is not a Jewish service. This is a Brooklyn service. And we needed to make sure that that was clear in our partnership with the work that we're doing with our council member. So thank you to everyone that's participated. We will be signing a check in a few, but we want to allow for some folks that have been instrumental to getting this done to say a few words. And of course, we have to start with council member here in Borough Park, the Carmen Yeager.
These two ambulances, together with the three that I put in this year's budget for Flatbush and Borough Park, with one in Flatbush and there's two coming in Borough Park, so that's 5 good ambulances. That would be my, I believe, I'm counting in my head, I think it's the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th ambulances that I've partnered with Hatzolah during my time in office. So this is something that, as you said, is so important, Mr. President, to revolve the lifeline of the ambulances. And by the way, one thing that's very important is when an ambulance goes offline here in Brooklyn, it doesn't go offline for Hatzolah. It gets used in other jurisdictions that don't have the same travel issues that we have here in Brooklyn that put a heavy toll on the ambulances. So they don't go from here to the great ambulance farm in the sky. They get used again and again until they're no longer able to be used. This project that we're doing together with our president is so important for a number of reasons. First of all, it obviously is important because everybody knows Hatzolah. Hatzolah is something that has been around since 50 years, older than us. Older than, I can still say older than us. You can't say, or I was going to say, I'm looking around, but as I look around, I know a lot of you, and it's older than most of us. Hatzolah doesn't care who you are, where you're calling from, what your issue is. It doesn't matter. You pick up the phone, you call Hatzolah, they will send somebody immediately to your house, to your location, to save your life. And it's so endemic of who we are as a community. We truly, it's not about that you're a part of our community. It's not about that you look like us. It's about that you need help and we can provide that help. We're going to go get you and give that help. That's Hatzolah. That's all of our community organizations in Borough Park and Flatbush and Williamsburg, all across Brooklyn, all across New York City. But Hatzolah in particular is so universally known And it's not just here in Brooklyn, it's Queens, on Long Island, throughout New York City, throughout New York State, throughout the United States, North America, Canada. This is Hatzolah, a universally known name, going out and helping people. Again, it's one reason that this is important. The second reason that it's important is because this really, truly it gives life to an ideal that the borough president has of cleaning the air, right? We're doing an electric ambulance. This is something that hasn't been tried before by Hatzolah. This is new, 2 new ambulances. We're going to give it a try. We're going to see that we can make it work. But it's an opportunity to take some of these diesel spewing ambulances off the street to have a chance of showing that we can do that. And we need the government partnership to do that, because truthfully, Hatzolah can't afford it. Hatzolah can't afford to keep on buying ambulances on their own through donations. They have to do this with government help. So, Mr. President, I hope your name goes on them in big, big letters. This is an incredible contribution that you've made, not just to Borough Park, not to Williamsburg, but to the entirety of the borough of Brooklyn, the city of Brooklyn, as I like to call it, the long days. And thank you very much for being here, and Hatzolah, thank you so much for the lives that you saved, everybody in our community. There's not a single family that has not known the chance to call Hatzolah and be saved by me. Thank you.
And he didn't mention that it is much more affordable than the cost of gas. So that is one of the greatest expenses that Hatzolah has, is the gas that they have to put in these vehicles. If we can make them electric, we'll be talking about pennies on the dollar that would allow for them to use that funding for other life-saving services outside of gas. So I do want to say that it's not only good for the environment, it's good for their pockets, and we like that. Now I want to bring coordinator of Borough Park Hatzolah, a member of the Central Hatzolah here, Henry Halper, to say a few words. Henry.
Thank you very much. Just a couple of brief remarks. First of all, thank you everybody for coming and joining us on this special day, all the leaders of the community, the various leaders of the community. President Reynoso and Councilman Yeager mentioned community. We, as a community-based organization, we started as a very small operation with just a couple of volunteers about 50 years ago. And we grew into a very formidable force, into a force of almost 2,000 members with hundreds of ambulances stationed around the city and the state and other states. When they speak about community, although we serve every community, but it's people like the president and the councilman that grew up in this community that understand what it is to give back to the community and to advocate for the community. Here in Borough Park, Williamsburg, and Flatbush, we're the 3 largest neighborhoods, arguably, throughout any Hatzolah network. And we're so appreciative that they chose us to try these ambulances and see if they can work and hopefully expand this program. And it's important to note, we have Councilman Yeager right here. This building that we're standing in front of, Kalman was very, very instrumental in helping us build this building, getting through many legal hurdles, and continues to help Borough Park Hatzolah as well as other Hatzolahs constantly throughout the year. Of course, the ambulances that he helped fund and donate to us, we're exceptionally appreciative, but it's important to recognize him for all his work that he did for this program. And because of where we are today, a very strong force in EMS here in New York City and elsewhere, city officials recognized what we do and they look to partner with us. And for that we're very grateful and thankful, and we again thank President Reynoso and Councilman Yeager for what they did for us and what they continue to do. We wish them a lot of luck in the positions that they're in and their future endeavors. Thank you very much.
Speaking on behalf of Yehiel Kadish, who is the CEO of Hatzolah Incorporated, who could not be here today, but we want to thank him for that. we also want to recognize that we've been joined by Marty Fleischer, who's the Hatzolah administrator. I want to thank him for his service and his work. Rabbi Barish Friedrich, thank you so much for being here. Guido Perlstein, who's the chair of Community Board 12, thank you for being here and your support. Moshe Braver, who is the coordinator of Williamsburg Hatzolah, who has a special place in my heart because I'm from Williamsburg. I'm biased. I am biased coming. I love everyone, but Williamsburg a bit more. Bernie Gibbs, for the coordinator of Borough Park Hatzolah as well, who's here. Bernie, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words. Okay. Bernie, come in.
Usually he lets me sign his name for him.
Yeah, definitely.
I keep his checkbook at home, but not really used to this angle.
All right.
The city of New York, especially specifically the borough president, recognizes what Hatzolah citywide contributes to the community, to all the people in the community, the Jewish community specifically, with other communities, whether it's upstate, whether it's the 5 towns, whether it's in Brooklyn. Our goal is to save a life regardless of what you believe. Our goal is to make sure that we get Chaim and Yisroel within 3 to 5 minutes and the rest of the people too. And with the help of the government, the help of the city, with new ambulances, new equipment, that can reach our goal. And of course, we have to mention ohne Siyata Shema geht gut nicht. Wir sehen jeden Tag, wenn wir zu Deutsch da hoffen, ist die Deutsche wie Klaus und Deutsche nicht gar gut. Die Deutsche wie Klaus und Deutsche wie dazu, wenn wir sehen, das gut geblut ist jeden Tag und jeden Minute. Dann sind wir das nicht. Wir steigen in Teure, Rappe, das war Läufer. And for Hatzolah, the pre-hospital care that we do, the paramedics and the members, stein auf mitten in der Nacht, mitten Tag, läuft weg von der Seite, läuft weg im Kudisch, im Besmeiderisch, läuft weg im Bespruch, wenn der Chassan aber mit so, nur zu Hofen, zweiten kennen. Also können auch eine Hände sein Leben im Nacht, Kinder eigentlich rein. Ich sehe, ich bin schon ganz weiß.